the CTSB studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, the one to turn to, News at 6, with your anchors, John Caldwell, Stephen Helbig, and James Summit with sports. Your CTSB News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the latest edition of the CTSB News. I'm John Caldwell.
And I'm Stephen Helbig. Thank you for joining us. There's a lot going on around Charlotte you need to know about.
In less than a year, the Queen City will have a college football team to call its own. The 49ers will take the field next fall. Our reporter James Summit looks at how this will affect the city of Charlotte.
In 2013, the city of Charlotte will get their taste of college football. UNCC will start playing in the 2013 season in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Hopes are high here at UNCC, especially from secondary coach James Adams.
I think this thing is going to get really big really fast, and so I'm excited about the future, and of course our expectations are high.
But what everybody's wondering, what effects will the football team have on the city of Charlotte?
Charlotte's one of those cities, every time you turn around, they're making a top 10 list of something. I jokingly call it the new Atlanta. You know, it used to be 15, 20 years ago, you knew somebody that lived in Atlanta. And now I feel like that's Charlotte. Everywhere I go, from recruiting locally to out in Kansas, I meet someone that says, hey, I know somebody in Charlotte. So it's become like that hub city.
There are some negative effects that will come from the football team. Resident of Charlotte and a UNCC alumni, Randy Birchfield, told us his concerns.
Traffic could be an issue. I think most of the concerns would be financial, starting out, just how is everything being paid for in a tough economic climate.
But here at UNCC and throughout the city of Charlotte, people could not be more excited about college football coming to town. As you can tell behind me, the stadium is currently being built and the plan is to have it ready by summer 2013. I'm James Summit for CTSB News.
As the Democratic National Convention approaches, the list for security restrictions is rising. Trash cans, mailboxes, and even newspaper stands will soon disappear from the uptown area. The U.S. Postal Service says all mailboxes will be sealed shut in nearly 40 locations. 40 locations.
40 locations? Are
Yes.
all of them going to be closed?
I guess so.
I mean, hopefully you didn't have to mail anything this weekend.
Hopefully I didn't, but
Hopefully you
I
didn't.
really don't know yet.
Well, coming up next, when you think of horses, most of us see them as just animals, but see how some families are finding out that they are much more than that. We'll have the story after the break. One local farm is showing children and adults a little more than just the joys of horseback riding. I had the pleasure of visiting the farm to see how these animals are changing lives. Horsing Around is one of many types of programs all around the world that puts their certified trainers, volunteers, and horses together to help the ones in need.
You have a licensed therapist that work on goals. The speech therapist will work on speech. The OT will work on fine motor skills. So they develop friendships. And then they develop a bond with a huge animal.
And he got on that horse and I could see he was just happy.
Children and adults of all ages come here to Horsing Around to get the boost of care that they were looking for.
The fact that I see children talk for the first time on a horse, or they learn to walk because of a horse, that's what makes it special.
Therapeutic horseback riding is becoming part of this generation's help for the ones in need.
I know he would not be where he is. I don't know where he would be really, but I know he wouldn't be here.
In 2008, the Center for Disease Control released new statistics on autism, saying that roughly it affects 1 in every 88 children. Compare that with the same numbers released in 2000 when it affected 1 in 150 children. That's roughly a 15% rise, a number that people here at Horsing Around don't really pay attention to. They only pay attention to the fact that these horses, paired with therapists and volunteers, put smiling faces on these kids while they're helping them learn valuable emotional, mental, and physical skills out in the real world.
Wow, that was a great story, John.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice, good time out there. Good for the soul.
It's always good to hear stories like that.
Yes,
you know?
yes, feel-good stories.
Well, coming up, including a scam you need to be worried about. We'll tell you the latest.
Plus, college is widely accepted as the greatest years of your life, but not for everyone. We'll meet students who have experienced bullying firsthand when we return.
This was my life before the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Another boring day at a job I had for over 10 years. At the school, they give you tools to be creative, and you learn about television, radio, and audio and video editing. Just like me, you can transform your life with an amazing new career in broadcasting. Call 1-800-TV Radio or visit gocsb.com to learn more. Now look at me here at UNCC.
We have all heard reports of students being bullied. CTSB News has gone into the community to find out what happens to the victims and the bullies years later. Clay Schrum has more.
Coming next month in October is National Bullying Prevention Month, which is a time to focus on an issue that was identified as being a big problem among 8 to 15-year-olds in a national survey. Teens reported that bullying was a problem for them more often than racism, HIV/AIDS, or the pressure to have sex. So what happens when these kids, both bullies and the bullied, move on from high school? I spoke with a few students from UNC Charlotte about their experiences with bullying and how they are dealing with it now.
I used to get teased because of my weight a lot, and then I've also been a part of it for like dodgeball. I don't know if you really call it bullying, but you know, I always get the little guy.
I was one of the kids who sat in the front of the class in my 6th grade English class. I'd get the paper balls thrown at me, tape dispensers, scissors. It kind of brought down my confidence level a little bit. But as I've gotten older, I've tried to kind of take it in stride and learn from it and build.
I mean, now I can just laugh at just about anything, you know, I really don't care anymore.
For one last perspective, I called a national bullying hotline and spoke with a counselor about how students can better deal with bullying.
A lot of times if, you know, we could get them to, like, develop different coping mechanisms by maybe journaling, exercising, going to counseling, having more kids reach out for help rather than to suck it in and just not say anything.
As we found out from these college students, even though some may have been bullied in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will be burdened with it in the future. For CTSB News, I'm Clay Schrum.
If you or anyone you know has been bullied, please call the Boys Town National Hotline, 1-800-448-3000.
And there is a Target texting scam going around. The text looks like this. It says, "You've won a $1,000 gift card if you simply click on the link and collect the money." The link takes you to a Target-looking site that criminals have set up to collect your private information. Information is then used to steal your identity, as the link installs a small piece of malware that takes control of your phone and forwards your private information to the criminals. If you receive a text from any number you don't know, don't open it, don't forward it, or respond to it to avoid being scammed.
Wow, who would have thought of all the places Target?
People are just so hard up for money now that they will just do anything, irregardless of anybody and their feelings.
Yeah, you just have to try to make that money, I guess, nowadays.
And that's not the right way.
It's not. Well, coming up next in sports, Panther players react to Coach Rivera's harsh words.
And if you were looking forward to the latest UFC fight, the wait just got a little bit longer. Find out what fight fans are buzzing about on the other side of the break.
At the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the time isn't running out. Your dreams can turn into reality, from TV to radio to anything behind the scenes. It can all be your future. You can have an experience that takes a few months and lasts a lifetime. With the hottest technology, you can have a hands-on experience, as well as a library of books to choose from. Hurry now, because classes begin in July with an option of day or night classes. Visit gocsb.com or call 1-800-TV-RADIO now to speak with a school director. It can all be your future.
The Connecticut School of Broadcasting. You can learn and specialize in the fields of radio, television, audio and video editing.
And it's that time of year again, Sundays Fun Days.
Oh, yeah.
NFL football season's back around.
Yeah, I can't wait. I actually saw the first game on Sunday.
The first preseason game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How was it? Who won?
I don't actually remember, to tell you the truth.
The
But
Panthers won. The Panthers won.
Let's kick it over to our sports reporter, James Summit.
Thank you, Stephen, and the other guy. With the first preseason game over, the Carolina Panthers are feeling the effects of Coach Rivera's comments during his poor performance. Marcus Dixon recently visited training camp to see how players are reacting.
The Carolina Panthers seem to be having fun during the start of training camp. One has to wonder if the fun will equal the wins that the fans are looking for out of the team this coming season.
He just telling us pick it up a little bit because we started off a little slow. Everybody's pushing everybody, and that's what you want. We don't try and look down on any other guy. We all push each other and help each other out any way we can.
Carolina Panthers' first game is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Linebacker Luke Kuechly looks to gain Defensive Player of the Year. Panthers' backfield looks to dominate once again.
After a loss to the Houston Texans, Coach Ron Rivera definitely wasn't pleased with the way his team performed. Afterwards in the locker room, he delivered a very strong message to the team. One thing is for sure, playtime is over for the Carolina Panthers.
Coach has been around a lot of winning teams. You know, he's played a lot of good football, and so his expectation level, we just didn't meet it, and that's on us. We know we worked all week to put ourselves at a competitive level, and like I said, we just didn't meet his expectations.
I don't think you're ever really satisfied. There's always a game in, no matter how good you play or how poorly you play. There's some good things, there's some bad things, there's some things you can work on. That's the nature of the business.
We've got to come out swinging more. We just got to. We can't sit back and catch. We just got to get off, get to the ball, attack, and just do what we got to do to win.
And to continue to work every day and to improve. And that's what Coach preaches on, is improve and trying to improve every day.
With players seeing a new side of their head coach, it appears that the fun in practice is over. As the Panthers work hard, all the fans can expect a more lively team on both sides of the ball. Marcus Dixon, CTSB Sports.
In other NFL news, rookie running back Trent Richardson of the Cleveland Browns is expected to be ready for the regular season opener against the Philadelphia Eagles. Richardson had a second knee surgery since being drafted third by the Browns. The team says it was a routine surgery. Coaches are reducing his workload to give his knee some time to heal. In the wake of UFC 151, there was a major event that caused Dana White to cancel the highly awaited event. A key injury to #1 contender Dan Henderson's knee forced him to withdraw from the event. The UFC tried to save the event with having Chael Sonnen replace Henderson, but light heavyweight champion John Bones Jones refused to take the fight on an 8-day notice. So the UFC canceled its event for the Labor Day weekend. Now Jones is slated to defend his title on September 22nd against the dangerous Victor Belfort. What do you think about that?
Are UFC fighters just allowed to call out sick like that?
Yeah, I didn't think they were.
You're hurt.
Wow.
These are pretty important, I guess.
You have to be in the game, and UFC, if you can't, you can't call out.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, that will do it for us tonight. I'm Stephen Helbig.
And I'm John Caldwell. Thank you so much for joining us. Tune in tomorrow night for more local news from CTSB. Have a good evening.